Welcome back to another episode of the $1 Million Body Podcast. My name is Nate Palmer, and if you're here, it's probably because you're a high performer, real estate agent, or business owner that's interested in maximizing your physique, your finances, and your family time using fitness and nutrition as force multipliers in your life. Excuse me. If you're not a part of the Facebook group already, definitely go to n8trainingsystems.com/group. That's where we stream these podcasts every Monday normally, but Tuesday today, you're welcome. You can join in, you can ask questions. There's a ton of cool things happening in the group, as well as a massive amount of free resources at your disposal, workouts, nutrition, meal plans, everything that you need to stay lean and live high energy, high focus life. Again, go to n8trainingsystems.com/group to join us there. If you're already in the group and you're watching this live, we're excited to have you because today we're unpacking breakfast. We're taking on the breakfast industry, the standard American diet, the important part of a complete breakfast idea and why that's so wrong, and it's ruining your energy and your focus. So I'm super excited to lean into that and learn some cool stuff. But before we get started, one of the things we like to do is give a shout out to the people accomplishing big things in the $1 Million Body community. I want to give a shout out right now to Brian Olson. Brian has been at it ever since we talked, maybe like four or 5 months ago. We talked on the phone, and he had made a commitment to doing his hill sprints on a weekly basis, and he's been extremely committed to this. He's been dedicated. He's been posting in the group. So I just wanted to say, Brian, super proud of you, man. You're doing a great job. I can't wait to see what your results are over the next couple of weeks as you jump into the $1 Million Body Method program. It's going to be lit, like lit in a good way. Okay. So breakfast, right? Have you guys ever sat at home? If you're a child of the 90s like me, or you existed in the 90s during cartoons and commercials, then you probably have a good idea about the wrong thing to have for breakfast. So is a pretty easy way to clue in on that is, number one, does it say a complete part of a whole breakfast? And does it show like oranges and orange juice and milk, and then like a bagel, and then like the cereal, and then like a banana, and then others? If you're looking at that like piece of Americana via cartoon commercials on Saturday mornings, then you know already what a high sugar, high carbohydrate breakfast looks like. And if you've ever, been to a Thanksgiving dinner where you're just sitting around eating, and then all of a sudden everyone's falling asleep and everyone's like, oh, it's the tryptophan, it's the turkey, it's the tryptophan, which is an amino acid found in turkey, then you know what it's like to have a high energy breakfast and start to feel a little bit sleepy right after that. So I want to dive into this idea and the standard American diet, and why it's not the best choice for high performers and entrepreneurs, and what the better choice is. Okay. So everything we view basically as breakfast foods in the US are high sugar, high carbohydrate, high energy sources of fuel for our bodies, which is not all bad, right? Pancakes, French toast, sweet rolls, cereal, granola, bagels, waffles, all those things are super high energy, high carbohydrates. Now, carbs aren't inherently evil, but starting your day with an absolute gut bomb of refined sugars and colors that have really never been found in nature, that's a sure way to start the day off on the wrong foot. Like we talked about in previous episodes, when you start your day off wrong, you're actually going to be recovering from it and trying to make up for it for the whole rest of your day. You wake up an hour later than you want to. It takes you a long time to get back into the groove. So that's why one of the pillars of the $1 Million Body Method is focusing on the intake of the correct nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and macros during the morning. This is the most important time to get the right foods in. Now, some people say, well, breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day. I prefer fasting. And that can work too for some people. Some of us, that's just not the right choice. We get too hungry at around noon. There's a couple other fasting options that can be a great way to fit that in. But today we're going to talk about breakfast, or at least the first meal of your day. So if you eat that at 7 a.m., you eat it at 11 a.m., it's still a great way to practice that first meal of the day. Okay. So if you want to look your best, you want to feel your best, you want to feel amazing and have tons of focus all day, then we need the proper fuel to start. So after working with entrepreneurs and business owners for over a decade at this point, I found that one of the single greatest contributors to low energy, poor performance, and general feelings of malaise is the breakfast that they're consuming on a daily basis. Most people don't take the time to properly fuel up in the morning. Most people will think, oh, having a few extra seconds to do work, submit a contract, get dialed in on some aspect of their business is going to make them more money long term. But this is actually a short-sighted mentality, because when you think about how many mornings this happens over the course of a month, a year, or even a decade, you can start seeing how putting yourself in a bad position to start the day, putting yourself in a place where you're going to need a snack at 10 a.m., at 12, at 2 p.m. to just like feel good and have the energy you need is setting yourself up for failure long term. So when you eat the wrong breakfast, it means your blood chemicals are no longer functioning properly to allow you to use carbohydrates effectively. Instead of using carbs for energy, you'll primarily be storing them as fat. The resulting chemical reactions in your body can cause a slowdown effect that's going to last you the rest of the day. And then, if you are dealing with any sort of insulin resistance at all, then having carbs early in the morning is one of the worst things you could do. So insulin resistance basically means that your body doesn't use insulin or carbohydrates effectively. You store more as fat. You don't use them for energy. A couple different ways to know if you have insulin resistance is go to n8trainingsystems.com/quiz. Let me give you, it's called a burn score. I'll tell you how easy it is for your body to burn fat. We'll throw this in the show notes as well. If you're wearing a size 42 pant or larger as a man, you probably have insulin resistance. If you deal with energy and mood swings all day, you probably have insulin resistance. If you feel hungry even after a meal, yes. If your blood A1C levels are 5.7 or above, and you'll know this by getting a blood work done, yes. If your belly protrudes over your pants, yes. Sorry to tell you, but yes. Or if your fasting blood sugar levels are greater than 126, you can check that using a glucometer in the mornings, then you probably have insulin resistance. Okay, so check any of those options out. Go to n8trainingsystems.com/quiz, and I can give you a pretty good idea if that's something you're dealing with or not. Insulin resistance is honestly one of the chief reasons that I see successful, intelligent, proficient men all the time being held to like a low energy and low focus and feeling like they need a nap around 2 o'clock just to be functional in the afternoons. So if you're affected by this disease, eating a banana, a bagel, or a bowl of cereal in the morning, your blood sugar is going to rise, okay? Probably more than it should. Your insulin's gonna rise up to meet it. And instead of being right here, like equal, your insulin's probably gonna be a little higher. So as the insulin takes your blood sugar and puts it into the correct cells, even though if those happen to be fat cells, you might be left with a little bit of insulin left in your body. With the insulin in your body doesn't like to be out of balance. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna send a signal to your brain using a hormone called leptin. Leptin is a hunger hormone. It's like, hey, we've got some insulin. We need a quick snack. So rather than grabbing like 14 blueberries, which would even you out, you're at the office. You grab half a donut if you're being good, right? Let's be honest. And then that blood sugar rises again. Insulin comes back up, goes to meet it, blood sugar comes down. And now you're in this balancing act up and down all day long where you're starting off the day on the wrong foot and it's lasting you for the rest of the day. And you're never really getting to the point where you can stay focused because every single time you eat food, you snack, you're digesting, you're pulling blood from your brain, from your appendages, your arms and your legs to your gut, which saps energy. It sucks energy away from the most important thing that you need it for. So this is a real struggle for a lot of people. So make sure that you're eating the right breakfast. And this is going to happen. If it's cereal, if it's granola, if you're grabbing a banana, like even these things that are healthy, oatmeal, right? It's heart healthy, right? Lowers cholesterol. But even if you're doing those things and you're not taking care of the root cause of the insulin resistance, you're not going to ever get away from that. And you're always going to be trapped in this vicious cycle of low energy, feeling like you need a snack, needing a nap, feeling like you need an energy drink, needing a nap. And then all of a sudden, like you wake up 3 years later and you're like, man, I've been tired and I feel like shit for the last 3 years. So take care of this insulin resistance now and then never deal with it again. So think about it like this. If this is helpful for you, think of blood sugar like hotel guests at like a swanky brand new high rise or like this hotel I'm sitting in right now. Insulin's like the hotel concierge. As the guests come in, each one is assigned to an employee who makes sure the guests get to the right room, are very comfortable, etc. In a healthy body, each guest get their own concierge and they get escorted to the right places at the right time in a timely manner, okay? If our bodies are not balanced, this creates a discrepancy between the guests and the employees. And so we'll either have a ton of guests just sitting around pissed off, probably writing rude Yelp reviews, or you'll have so many attendants that you just sitting around there doing nothing, waiting for guests, telling people to come down to the lobby, trying to get more business. Neither one's a really good option, okay? So in terms of breakfast, here's what I know. The best breakfast for energy consists of high quality proteins and fats. Number 2, limit your carbohydrates in the AM if you want vibrant energy all day. Number 3, eat less to have more energy. And number 4, eat boring, win big. Okay, so let's dive into those real quick. It's going to be a quick podcast, hopefully. I tend to say that and then become extremely verbose. Hopefully you get what you need from this, though. The best breakfast, though, is proteins and fats. Protein, an essential nutrient that's important to rebuilding muscle, improves recovery, and gives your body the ability to manufacture enzymes it needs to stay healthy and create chemical reactions that build energy instead of detracting from it. Enzymes are essentially the things that allow your body to break down food, create complex chemical reactions. For example, if you have like a specific type of sugar in your blood called galactose, which is the combination of two different types of sugar molecules, glucose and maltose, I think. You need a specific enzyme to break those down. Enzymes are built from amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. So protein allows you to break down sugars and have the ability to digest your food more effectively. Proteins and fats are also slower digesting than the majority of carbohydrates. This means they cause less of a blood sugar spike, like we already talked about, and less of a need for your body to produce and manage insulin, which is perfect if you have any or close to like a low degree of insulin resistance. Healthy fats are also optimal for keeping your endocrine, your hormone system running well, which improves your mood, your energy, your digestions, and it can stave off a lot of common issues that men and women face. Fats in the morning also help improve upon the energy enhancing effects of caffeine. If you're like me, you drink a lot of coffee. Eating more fat's going to help the caffeine create a mellow, focused, long-lasting buzz rather than getting hit, feeling all twitchy. This is also the reason that companies put taurine in pre-workouts and energy drinks. It mutes the buzz a little bit, but taurine is actually a caffeine antagonist rather than a buffer. So it makes a little bit of difference because energy drinks basically make you spike and then drop. That taurine makes you drop. And they try to do it to take the edge off, but you can do the exact same thing with having some high quality fat content without getting that big drop off. It's basically going to give you this nice smooth buzz that lasts you all day. In order to maximize the way your body looks and the way your mind performs, proteins and fats for breakfast is an optimal strategy daily. Number 2, limit carbohydrates in the AM. Even if you don't suffer from insulin resistance, if your body is under 10% body fat, let's say, or you're someone who's trying to gain more muscle rather than lose fat, an optimal breakfast to create extreme amounts of energy does not need carbohydrates, okay? If you're training for a triathlon, if you're gonna do an Ironman, if you're out in the morning running more than 3 to 5 miles, we need to have some more carbohydrates in there. But for most of us, we spend most of our energy on the focus, the things that we're doing for our business, for our family, for our finances, and therefore this is a perfect framework to follow. If you're looking for Ironman advice, you are on the wrong podcast. So if carbohydrates are actually going to cause your body to slow down in order to digest them as well as the aforementioned insulin spike that can keep you from feeling fully satisfied and can actually cause hunger pangs, like I said, for the rest of the day. Again, those hunger pangs cause snacking. Snacking leads to sapping energy, and sapping energy leads to the dark side. Yoda said it, as you know it's true. So this is not to say that you can never eat waffles again or bagels or ever have a banana in the morning, but on days when you're aiming for optimum performance and mental focus throughout the day, on work days especially, then you know that in the morning, carbohydrates are not your friend. So I don't want you to be having pancakes on a regular basis, but if you're having them on weekends because you know it's a lower key day and you want to have them with your family, awesome. But now you know. It's like that awareness where you're like, don't go chasing waterfalls. And you read the lyrics and you're like, it's chasing waterfalls. It's been chasing waterfalls this entire time and you can never go back. And then your childhood is ruined. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. So by the way, the leaner that you get here, the easier it becomes for your body to handle carbs and sugars. So if you want to be able to eat pancakes, waffles, bananas, etc., being leaner by utilizing some of these principles is going to be a big payoff for you. Number 3, eat less for more energy. So like I said before, Thanksgiving is that beautiful time of year where we just get to be grateful, have our friends and family around us, cook some delicious food, and then we get to pass out in a food coma while your Aunt Ruth is like, it's the tryptophan and the turkey. Well, you had 2 slices of turkey, and we didn't even talk about the stuffing and the gravy and the mashed potatoes and the other stuff that you had. It's not the tryptophan, guys. By the way, pork has more tryptophan than turkey. And no one's like, oh man, I had this crazy ham sandwich for lunch, passing out, man. Nah, it's just because we're eating an inordinate amount of food. So the more food we have, the more we shift into that parasympathetic rest and digest state and away from that sympathetic fight or flight, like more turned on, focused, mentally aware mentality. So that big meals, they put us into that parasympathetic nervous system dominance, which is a great time to chill out, take some time to unwind, start going to sleep, that sort of thing. And overeating can slow you down. But did you know that undereating actually has the opposite effect? It can keep you more energized. Slight hunger sensations can actually improve upon your sympathetic nervous system state, allow you to have access to more energy and more focus, be more dialed in on your surroundings, be more aware of stuff. especially when you have tasks that need to be completed or you need to be really, really, really dialed in. This is a great thing to keep in mind. So we came from a society of hunters and gatherers. The most ideal time to hunt was not after a big feast, but before it, right? So even though we don't need to hunt to eat, a lot of us can equate like building our businesses, going out and prospecting, that sort of thing to hunting, right? Commission-based, if you're commission-based in any capacity, we're always looking for new leads, prospects, new ways of gaining income for ourselves and our family. So kind of just think about it in that lens. So having the mental ability to be looking for opportunities and to be extremely aware of our surroundings, it's a boon. It's a huge benefit to ourselves, our mentality, our focus, our business, everything. And we can access this superpower that we have super easily by just not eating like an asshole. Write that down. Highlight it, underline it. 2 underlines on that. Don't eat like an asshole. For these reasons, I strongly advise against feeling full for the first 10 to 12 hours of the day. So try to, like, not that you have to starve yourself, but stay away from that feelings of fullness, okay? So eat light. Eating light also has benefits to longevity, keeping you alive longer, helping you feel great. And so, and if you're really doing that deep work, like something that really like prepping a presentation, writing a book, something that needs more than an hour's worth of focus, I think eat super light. Be hungry. Actually feel those little slight hunger sensations, because slight hunger sensations can very, very easily be reinterpreted to your body as extra energy. So if you have something that needs doing, that needs focus, that needs they work, throw on some good music and stay hungry, because you'll get through it faster. You'll be on longer. Okay. Number 4, eat boring, win big. Okay. So I'm right now in the middle of a workout phase where my coach has been writing my programming, and I hate it. It's so boring. It's the most boring workouts I've ever done. There's no supersets, long breaks between exercises. I've been doing the same exact program now for about 8 weeks. This is week 9. And I've been seeing great results. It's been awesome. The results speak for themselves, but the workouts themselves are boring. I get bored in the gym. I'm not having that much fun. But for a lot of us, this is exactly where we need to be with our nutrition and our training. The pursuit of excitement and novelty detracts us from doing the work that actually leads to the good results. So, we talked last week about the AM routine and how getting rid of decision fatigue in the AM can really lead to having a great benefit to your decision-making prowess in the afternoon. Like, I give you the energy and the mentality that you need to make great decisions later in the day, since you didn't spend your time worrying about what shirt you're going to wear. Same thing with this. Let's have something boring every single day, or pick 1 or 2, like have 2 great options that can be amazing for like your energy, you're like feeling good, and then just eat those every single day. The magic is in being boring. Because if you're always waking up and being like, what am I going to eat? Is it going to be a bagel? Maybe pancakes? Maybe French toast is the weekend? Or actually, should I have oatmeal because it's heart healthy, decreases cholesterol? Or maybe there's some granola left, but no milk. Maybe I'll just grab a banana on the way out. And now we've had even though they seem like minuscule, non-important things, having this type of interaction with ourselves on a daily basis, it doesn't give us the energy that we need for those other important decisions later in the day. So don't fall prey to the marketing that's been ingrained since like the Saturday morning cartoons we already talked about, that we need to be eating something new and special every single meal, every single day, because we are unique, special snowflakes. Now, eat boring, win big. Okay, so find 2 meals that you can easily substitute back and forth and put those 2 meals in on a regular basis or daily, every single day. This is going to actually enable you to see what effect those first meal has on your energy, and then refine it. Because if you don't know the actual details on how you're feeling, if you're only done it for like 2-3 days, you're not going to be able to check in with yourself and see how you're feeling and change things up. This is important. That's an important aspect. So that way, if you're adding a supplement in or doing something a little bit different, having bulletproof coffee, whatever, then you can actually just discern, was this actually beneficial? Did I feel better? Did I feel worse than my baseline because I always eat the same thing? So for a while, a year or 2 ago, bulletproof coffee really was popular, popping off. Everyone loved it. But it's because, and they were like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much energy from all this butter I'm putting in my coffee. But when you go from eating like a day-old bagel and then a latte with 50 grams of sugar to eating bulletproof coffee, you're going to be feeling a lot different. And so it's not fair to be like, oh wow, this is the God's gift to coffee, putting a big lump of butter in it, when you didn't have anything that was already giving you good results to start. So So that's why in this episode, I really want to talk about finding 1 or 2 breakfasts that you can maintain for, the next few weeks, months, years, depending on where you're at. And then you can focus on other aspects of your life that's going to be really, really beneficial for you. So those are the 4 things I wanted to talk about. Now let's talk about what are great options for breakfast. Let me give you 2 right now, okay? Charles Poliquin is a famous Canadian strength coach, really smart guy. He's done a ton for the industry, but he was really all about he called a meat and nut breakfast, okay? So simple, right? It could be chicken thighs and almonds. That's my favorite pre-skiing breakfast. I feel great. I have tons of energy all day long when I have chicken thighs and almonds for breakfast. Don't knock it till you try it. A little tapatio on that bad boy. Awesome. If you want to have like some ground beef and some pistachios, great. If you want to have a steak and some cashews, great. If you want to have some goat and some macadamia nuts, great. You can mix this up any kind of way you want to. Feel free to throw in some eggs there. Eggs are great because the egg white is going to be the protein, the egg yolk is going to be the fat. You're going to be feeling awesome. Okay, meat and nut breakfast. The second option is a protein shake. Protein shakes are phenomenal because you can amend them, edit them, tweak them in any kind of way that's going to give you the results that you're looking for. So whether you want to add in some creatine because you're working on building some muscle, if you want to add in some turmeric to decrease your blood pressure and inflammation, great. You want to add in some cinnamon for the taste and some heart health, great. If you want to add in any kind of thing, there's a lot of different ways to change up your shake to make it fit your goals and your lifestyle. But what you need for a shake, the first thing we're going to need is high protein, okay? So a whey protein isolate. Stay away from whey protein concentrates. Stay away from vegetarian or vegan proteins because those are either going to have an incomplete amino acid profile or they're going to have a ton of carbs for the amount of protein you're getting. I've not found a single vegetarian or vegan protein that I think is acceptable for this style of eating. So whey protein isolate is the best way to do this. Egg white can be an okay type of protein, but I think it can give you some serious gas, especially if you're doing it for longer term. Almond milk is a great option, pretty innocuous, not a ton of calories. And then let's add in some fats. So a natural peanut butter or a natural almond butter can be a great option here. An MCT oil is good, but it's not going to give you quite as much satiety. It's because it's really thin. Avocado, also a great option. Coconut oil can be a good option, but make sure that you get what you need here. So if you have your shake and you're like, man, I'm hungry again, like within minutes of eating that, let's add some ice in there. Let's make it a bigger shake. You can stretch a shake or squish it down into like 3 or 4 sips, just depending on where you're at. So make sure that you get what you need out of that. So a protein shake with whey protein isolate, and then a healthy source of fat from avocados, peanut or almond butter, or MCT oil can be a great fit for your lifestyle. The one caveat here is just make sure that when you are having your shakes or your meat and nut breakfast, try to keep that under about 15 grams of carbs. Seems to be the sweet spot, especially if you're having between 25 and 40 grams of protein with that meal. If you were looking to make this a little bit denser, a little bit more, add more protein. Don't be afraid to go up to between 40 and 50 grams of protein. This is a great spot for you to have in order to build more muscle, feel better, have the amino acids that you need, and just generally have the energy that you want for the day. By the way, when you're focusing on energy for the day, rather than focusing on dieting, the fat seems to come off faster because now you're connecting energy with your physique, with your finances, with your family time, and it's much easier to stay on point like that. If there's anything that I missed, any of the other questions that you have, or something that you've tried in the past for a protein shake or for a breakfast that's been getting you some amazing results, reach out. Let me know what that is because I'd love to hear it. Other than that, just to go back, basically, here's what we're talking about today. Proteins and fats for breakfast are the #1 best thing you can have, period, end of story. You want to limit your carbohydrates in the morning as an entrepreneur, as someone who wants energy and focus for the day. Eating less is going to give you more energy. And last, eating the same thing, eating boring, is going to help you win big long term. Let me know if that was helpful for you at all. Drop a like, subscribe, drop a comment, give me a review on the $1 Million Body Podcast. Go on Spotify, make sure you're subscribed. That would be super helpful for me. Hopefully you got a lot out of this podcast. And if you did, just let me know. Let someone else know. Let your mom know. Call your mom, actually tell her you're okay. Tell her you love her. And we will talk to you very soon. Until then, choose the hard, and I'll talk to you guys again next week.